All right, guys, here's the deal. I'm here with Stephen Brooks, and we literally did not think about it, but we just decided about 2 minutes ago that we're going to do an interview, and we have about 20 minutes
So here we are.
in which to do it. So we're going to do a 20-minute spontaneous, serendipitous interview. Stephen's in town from Costa Rica. You may know him from the Netflix show with Zac Efron
Yep.
called
Down to Earth.
Down to Earth. Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't watch it because I was like, how come they didn't ask me to do that show? But no, I'm very happy for Zac. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for the world that they got to see what you're doing down in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And thanks to Netflix for spreading that awareness.
Yeah, they're doing more and more. It seems like their programming is definitely in that direction.
So, Stephen, what should we talk about? What's alive for you right now?
Yeah, well, alive for me right now today, I just got, well, I'm out speaking at this conference called Exit and Build, which is interesting. It's kind of, it's like we're all on the road to radical change, and we're all coming from kind of different places. You have like the hippies, you have like the psychedelic reality, you have the, freedom fighters, which here in Texas is going on, which is, it's been interesting for me. So that's alive. Today we just had a big community meeting. I just created a community called Alegria Village, and there are 145 families from 36 countries, and that's just incredible. I mean, it's like, and it's interesting because it's like, why are your neighbors your neighbors? Like how did that happen? It's like the first thing when you were saying, oh yeah, the neighbor over here, like who are your neighbors? It's like, to me, it just seems like such a important thing, but it's just random. Like in today's society, our neighbors are our neighbors because that house went for sale and that person was looking, it was in their price range. But how can we surround ourselves with people with similar values? That just feels so crucial. And it's not like we want to live in some monoculture, where everybody's the same. It's like there's people from 36 countries, but this underlying values of, how can we protect watersheds and how can we create wildlife corridors? And like, that's important to me. And I want to live surrounded by people that care about that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the wind. Are you?
No, because we don't have time to worry.
Worrying is like praying for what you don't want. So yeah, so that's really exciting, and it's just overwhelming. You were asking me like, how do you filter? It's like you have all these people that you just sell to anyone that can afford it, and what's interesting is it's kind of like the universe filters. It's like we're not in the hip town, we're not on the beach. We're in the middle of an area where we chose our land. Our criteria was based on climate, and water, which I don't know, people aren't doing that yet. Like it's happening, it's starting, and people are going to start waking up to, like you were saying, like, yeah, this is the area of Texas with the best soil, Right. You would think people would move here because of that, but that's just.
Well, I think if your motivation is financial,
right,
then it really doesn't matter what the land is.
Right.
It matters, what you can sell it for,
right.
and what kind of coat of paint you can put on superficially to try and, like, I gotta say, like, I get so deeply offended to my core when I see those reality shows, like the flip shows, where they just throw in a cheap coat of paint, and they don't really care about what is in the bones, what is the what is deeper below the surface. They just want to sell it. They want to flip it at the cheapest added value for as much markup as possible. And that's what we don't want to do here. We want to take the profit motive out of the equation, and it's really about who you are and how committed you are to being here for the longest amount of time, so that we can cultivate this. I mean, for us, our guru is the land. Communities always go awry when the guru
is a human,
and he has, or he or she, I think it's mostly men, but they have the money, and they're basically, the power differential is in their favor, and they become corrupted. But here, if the land is our guru, it can't be corrupted. If we're worshiping nature, it can't undermine our.
It's a common question though. Like people ask me often, like, what's the glue in your community? Because most communities have a guru. That's the glue.
Are you the guru?
No.
Yeah,
Nature's the guru.
Sure?
I say my dad's the guru, if anyone. But no, I mean the guru is the land. And just like you said, I mean that's just real. It's like, and I think the glue is our collective dedication to making the world better. And not only like the physical, like the reality of the forest and the the watershed, but like how can we, especially moving to Costa Rica, like how can we show up and radically improve the people around us? It's like we're not trying to create these little gringo bubbles. It's like how can we radically improve the life of the Costa Rican people that live around us. My girlfriend is Costa Rican, and so deeply embedded in our mission is also you have all these like kind of like new age hip foreigners moving to Costa Rica, and they're moving there for a lot of reasons. Costa Rica is incredible, but the Costa Ricans are incredible, and how can we bridge, and remember, like the reason you're moving to Costa Rica is, and stop complaining that it takes a little bit longer at restaurants and everything takes a little longer because everything's a little slower, and that's what you're starting to meditate for. And the reason you're, it's like we're striving for that.
Yeah, I used to be annoyed at that. What I saw as culture that didn't honor speed and efficiency. And now the name of the show is
EarthSpeed. I just think of that.
And it's in a different cadence. It's in the appropriate cadence that honors peace and peace of mind, and also reverence for nature itself. And nature moves at the appropriate pace that it needs to. And it's not a sort of imposed idea of what needs to happen at any given moment.
It's an interesting as like a permaculture designer, it's like this dance. It's kind of like a three-way, like a three-way, it's like you as the designer and your vision and experience, the client, whoever the person you're working with, and land, and you want to listen to the vision. Like, as I sit here, I'm like hearing you and your vision. This land has its whole vision, and you're in some capacity listening to that. And then I'm sure everybody that comes through here, you're like, oh, what do you see? What do you hear? Like, how can I translate this land's language to do and to listen and try to do it in the rhythm of, and I appreciate so much your speed. I mean, EarthSpeed, I guess it's a great name for the show because this isn't something to rush. You can't, you can rush your waiter, or you can rush, in your work, the people you work with. You can't rush nature. She's on a whole earth.
Yeah, because we got caught up in, calendar years and quarters and what,
and time is money.
And time is money.
Yeah.
And we lost the wisdom, the innate wisdom of ancestral teachings, which are 100-year, multi-generational time frames.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
I mean, even just, you look at the sun doesn't care about our calendar. It's on a whole different trip. Totally. And if you're really in tune with it, calendar is irrelevant.
I even think like my favorite fruits are probably mangosteen and durian, my two favorite fruits, and they take somewhere 8 to 10 years to produce. And people are like, oh, how can you wait? How do you? Well, what else are we gonna do? Like, that's just what we do. It's like another thing. I'm obsessed with plants. I'm an ethnobotanist first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
The study of the relationship between humans and plants, and I'm constantly hunting cool plants. At our farm in Costa Rica, we have one of the largest collections of tropical useful plants on earth. I've been like scouring the globe for plants that make human life better. And there's so many things out there that, like, for example, if I could only bring one seed with me to a deserted island, it would be the peach palm. And most people have never even heard peach palm. What's that? So peach palm is heart of palm, like you get a heart of palm in your salad. That's the heart of the peach palm. But the peach palm also has a fruit we call in Costa Rica pejiwaye. And it's this orange fruit that's kind of like a potato meets avocado. And it's just the most incredibly delicious thing ever. You can make hummus out of it, or you can make ceviche out of it. You could just eat it out of hand with salt on it. It's incredible. Yet it's unknown outside of Costa Rica, a little bit of Panama, and then in Colombia they call it chontadura. But outside of that little region, it's unknown. And why, I don't know.
How does it grow in Zone 8?
Not well. Not well. But there's a lot of things. I mean, are you familiar with medlar?
No.
That's like a really cool temperate fruit that you can be growing. Pawpaws. Have you planted? Do you know about pawpaw?
I'd have to ask Jordan.
Yeah, pawpaw is a very special native I don't know if it's native to Texas, but it's native to like Missouri, Tennessee, North Carolina. And it's are you familiar with guanabana, soursop? It's a tropical, incredible tropical fruit, one of the best. It's a whole family called the Annonaceae family.
The most tropical thing that I know we have is a banana.
Uh-huh.
Right
Cool.
You see it in the corner.
Yeah, I see it. I saw it when we were in there. So pawpaw is this, it's the only temperate annona. And it's like a tropical fruit that grows here. You need to get it. But I get medlar, mulberries are great ones. I mean, there's a lot of things you can be. They're the guy. So I took my permaculture course in 1999 with the Bullock brothers. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're from Orcas Island, Washington, and they're three brothers. One's married to a woman from Japan, one a woman from Poland, and one a woman from Russia. And they've like gone deep into all of the temperate fruits, and there's so many things you can be growing.
Sure. Yeah, we're also getting a greenhouse going at some point,
Awesome.
so we'll be able to do much more expansive number of multi-temperature or climate.
I'd recommend, like, it's so funny because this conference I'm at, they're like so anti-Facebook and anti-everything corporate. But the most, and I said it in my talk yesterday, that like the most unbelievable thing in the whole world for me right now are these nerdy Facebook groups that are these like fruit Facebook groups. And you can find people that are in Texas that are just pushing the edges, you know. So you could find people that are already collecting these things. You don't have to figure this out. Like, there's so many people that have already figured it out,
and you can't know it all.
Yeah,
it's just endless. You know, you just be present. And okay, I just want to talk about presence. Speaking of presence, is I think such an important key to creating community. Right? A lot of times people are checked out, at least on some level. You know, a lot of people come here and they're like, oh, we'd love to buy a plot of land and own it, and then we'll come in on the weekend. Right. But we're really looking for people to be here, to give of themselves and be present.
Yeah. You know, I mean, on that note, like, I think, like, the clearer you can get on the criteria of, like, the perfect people you're seeking, you'll find them. You know, it's like, just keep honing in. And that's part of presence. It's like clarity. You know, for me, permaculture is kind of like this merging of intention, which intention is presence. Like, you're like intending on what you want and what you want to see. And you're like being clearly intentional, and efficiency. It's kind of like where they merge. We want to be efficient. We want to be efficient with our energy. You don't want to waste too much energy with like somebody to come here for 5 months and realize this was not the right thing. You want to be efficient.
Yeah.
But I think the clearer you can get with what it is you're seeking, the easier you will find it. You know, so what I would recommend is for you and Jordan to really, like, literally list all the traits, like what kind of, even like create kind of like the avatar of the people that you're seeking to come and be here, and you're gonna find them.
Right, and you amend the soil in the right way, and it'll grow the fruit that you desire.
Exactly. And I also think that's even for you. You know, for you and your presence, like, what is it, like, getting clear about what you want.
Well, the trick is, I want some things, she wants something
right,
different.
but there's somewhere in between. Together. And write it down. Write down what you want. Write down what she wants. Highlight the overlaps. Get clarity around the non-negotiables. Like, there's might be non-negotiables. Like, this is a non-negotiable. I don't want a weekend person here. I don't want.
Right.
You know. So I think finding your commonalities with Jordan, together finding out, like, what are there's like the physical gaps, like what, like, you keep talking about all these things that you want here. Who's going to manage and do all those things? So you're very clear. You need somebody to run these realities.
And I guess there's a part of me that's in doubt, that doesn't believe that person exists.
Oh no, they do.
Right? Is there going to be someone who wants to be here, who wants to live here, who wants the same things and has the skills to deliver on that promise?
Well, I think that the person that has those skills probably wants something very similar. You know, it's like they've developed those skills. Like, I'm just seeing it all over. Like, get really clear on what you're looking for. Like, really clear job description almost, because it's not a job description because they're working for you. You're all working for this land. And get clear on your own job description and Jordan's job description. And the other 4 or 5 families that are going to be here, what's their job description? And maybe the few interns, what's their job description? Get really, really clear on it. And then that's presence. You know, it's like...
And then we'll have one question be like, would you be our guru? And if they answer yes, they're out.
Out of here. We already have a guru. It's, what's the the mom's name? The
Rosie?
Rosie's the guru.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Rosie the
think,
llama.
I mean, I think that's when you ask about presidents, and I think, you know, really listening, beginning with yourself, and first you and yourself, and Jordan does that simultaneously, and then together you find the common ground, and together you figure out, you know, what are the spaces that what are the jobs that this place needs, but separating it from, they're not working for you. You're all working for.
So we're about to go to this conference and hear a talk on community governance principles. Right?
Yeah.
What are your, how do you, so you're talking about how we find the people, how do you get rid of them if they don't work out?
Great question. So today, this call today, so we're in a very interesting transition. So we were 7 founders of the community. We 4 years ago bought the land, made the master plan, created all the common buildings, did all the roads, put in the big gardens, made the yoga deck, did all the things, and we took it to a certain point, you know. So it was kind of like a benevolent dictator until a certain point. We had already sold lots. There are already people that are part of the community, but we're still making the decisions until a certain point. Okay, we've set it up a certain point. This is the way it is. If you want to be a part of it, come on in. If this doesn't resonate with you, move on. You know, so now there's 145 families, and now we, like today's call was, they were presenting on all the different committees presented. We had the conscious parenting committee, we had the circular economy committee, we had the governance committee, we had the regeneration committee, and so there's people, and it's kind of a duocracy. You know, it's like there was 75. There was probably 115 or 20 people on the call, but there's only 75 squares. You know, there's some of them had 2 or 3 people, but there's only 75 squares. So some people didn't even come to the meeting, and that's okay. They don't need to. Some people are in every committee and are in every meeting. Yeah. And you, like, the people that show up. And the crazy thing is, Adrian, at this point, I'm not really in any of the committees. Sometimes I show up because they want to ask me questions, but I've kind of like birthed it, visioned it, took it to a certain point, and now I've passed it on to these, and now I'm on to the next one.
Yeah.
What am I bringing up for you?
Well, no, you're triggering me. I'm just remembering. I you know, the Park Slope Food Co-op.
I know it well.
In Brooklyn. So I was a member for a while.
I know it very well.
And I worked. I did my monthly, 3-hour shift and the whole thing, and it was so mind-numbingly challenging because it was so disorganized, because everybody had input and everybody had a say.
That's why you
And
wait for that.
Oh my God. And I was like starting to climb the ladder, like thinking that I might get into the governance of the co-op. And I went to one meeting and I realized I was like, this is not for me, because the people who want to be involved and present are the type of people that want to be involved and present. And that made me a little nervous.
I actually like the people that want to, it's a few different reasons. One is they have time.
It's like politics, right? The people who want to be in government, like they get shady.
I'm not really, in this case, like these people, and just like seeing, there are people that have more time.
Right.
You know, there are people that really care about the decisions, you know, and I do still care, but I feel like I've done my part. You know, my part was to vision it. My part was to raise the money. My part was to do all the.
So from the beginning, give us an overview of what you've done, where it is, name, just all the details.
Cool. So yeah, I grew up in North Miami, Florida, in the suburbs. Always questioned the design of it. Like, why do we have to, anywhere we want to go, we got to drive there? What the hell? And in 1995, I went to Costa Rica on vacation, and I watched a playground full of indigenous children get sprayed by a Chiquita banana crop duster. It radically shook me. I'm like, emergency brake on my life. Like, the hell are we doing? Like, spraying neurotoxic chemicals on these indigenous children, like, whose like ancestors have treated the earth like it's an extension of their bodies for centuries. And here we are doing this so we can have bananas that don't have little marks on it. It's just like, I knew from that moment there was nothing, like, there was nothing else to do with my life. Like, how could people be watching Dancing with the Stars or the NBA playoffs when, like, this is happening right now, today, as we sit here in Texas, like right now in Costa Rica or in Honduras or in Colombia or in all the disgusting industries that are happening around the world. So unfair. And so I just couldn't think of anything else to do but to start by just learning myself, So we started a farm called Punta Mona, which is the Punta Mona Center for Generative Design and Botanical Studies. And over the years, we've had tens of thousands of people come through, and we teach permaculture. We taught the first permaculture courses ever in Costa Rica in 2001. We have one of the largest collections of useful plants on Earth. We've been just scouring the globe for cool plants that make life better. And then in the last 15 years, we started a community where I live now called La Ecovilla, which is 45 families from 22 countries. We have 60 children in the school that the parents co-created. Next door, around the same time, we started another one that's 25 families, a little bit of a different governance and structure, but also on the same river in the same valley. And then 4 years ago, we purchased 170 acres, and we've sold 145 lots to people from 36 countries. And now we're just about to close on 1,250 acres, 8 minutes from there. And now the idea is like culminating all the different aspects. My girlfriend, Andrea, is, so passionate about incorporating Costa Ricans and Costa Rican culture and Costa Rican, art and making sure that they don't get left behind, Costa Ricans, because here we are in their country. While merging, I've been in the festival business. I have a festival in Costa Rica called Envision. That how can we bring that magic so we can keep the young people around? That's one of the problems with intentional communities around the world is that the young people just kind of, their parents' crazy idea. That was their parents' thing. How do we keep it evolving so we can keep the young people around? And then we're going to create an urban area with restaurants and apartments, because everybody doesn't want a half acre or quarter acre. Some people just want to live in an apartment in the community. And then, we're going to create 150 hectare or 400 acre food forest. Like, we just created a fund. And, in the old days, the hardest part was raising money. Like, it was taking so much energy to try to convince people to invest in communities in Costa Rica. In the last community that we created, it was such an incredible success. Thank you also to my dear friend, Zac Efron. It was super good marketing. But now it's like, it also just feels like the world is ready for this. The world is ready for another way to do things. And I feel like we're really delivering something that's different. Our new project called Eterna, which means eternal. And we're just about to close on this 1,250 acres and then another 150 acres on the beach near Nosara. A lot of people in our little neck of the woods were like, wait, we need something also on the beach. And then the other thing that we're doing is I actually learned a lot from John Mackey here at Whole Foods. I used to be a really close friend with him, and I was really in that inner circle watching the way Whole Foods expanded and the way that they, like, the criteria is a word I bring up all the time. The criteria for what they looked for in buying new stores. So now for Eterna, we're kind of creating the criteria of what we're trying to do. One of our biggest missions is to create affordable housing for Costa Ricans. Because what's happening in these places like Santa Teresa and Nosara in Costa Rica is that it's getting like Cancun. Like, the rich foreigners are buying the beachfront and the ocean view. And then all the people that work for them are like living in little slums in one little, it's like, how can we avoid that? Like, the middle-class Costa Ricans can't even afford to go rent there. So what we're doing now is we're creating this reality where on the edge, like just in permaculture, we talk a lot about the edge, just beyond where those expensive properties are, we don't really care about the ocean views. We don't really, it's like we want to be within 25 minutes of all those places and create these communities. Because what's happened is these urban areas, there's no plan. They just kind of got piece towns, just kind of happen. And like I started before, it's like intention. What do you want our town to look like? How can we design it and plan it in a way so it's merged with gardens and ponds and massive art? And, it's like, there's no limit to our dream. It's like, we can just if you had to spend a few minutes and just like, what would your dream world look like? I often go back to Willy Wonka, the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate River. And it's like, okay, we can do that.
So, this is your business as well.
Yeah, this is Eterna is the new project, Eterna Community, and
that is that like your primary focus, like your financial, your business is building communities.
Yeah, that's my business. I also teach permaculture. I have a company called Ecoversity, which we teach online courses, and within the community, we're creating a campus of campuses. So we're creating an Ecoversity campus. Now we're creating like a middle and high school. The school that our school has 60 children in it, but it's kind of more, it's an unschooling, more focused on younger children. So now we're creating this kind of like experiential learning middle high school. The reality is middle and high school isn't any different than college. So the Ecoversity, it's like by the time you're 13, 14, you know what you like. You should start focusing on that and not have to take trigonometry and English. And it's just like, you're making kids crazy. You know, like help them, support them, and find their passion, and make them an expert at it.
Mm.
So that's kind of like we're creating this campus of campuses. Like we're creating like a media hub and a tech and innovation hub and the ecoversity, and then like our friends do this like circus residencies, and I have all these, you know, Alex Gray and Amanda Sage and these like visionary artists are creating this artist residency, and they're all around the ecoversity. So, you know, and then a music studio, and you can learn sound tech, or you can learn to be a DJ, or you can record your album, and it's all on this 1,250 acres of, you know, I've been a burner. I'm a huge.
You don't say.
Yeah, so I've been 17 times to Burning Man, and the fact that we just create the greatest town on earth, and then we take it down. It's like, and yet like nobody's doing that permanently.
Although death is an important part of the whole process. You need to let things go. So that, you know.
I think so, and I don't know
At
if
least
it's death or evolution.
Well, I find that that's part of the lesson that I get from Burning Man is the impermanence, the letting go.
But I don't know if death means things are over. I think it's more evolution than death.
Sure, fine.
So I think the evolution is...
Death is a word, though, and it means something. And that's, you know, so
yeah, I mean, I think things end, and then new things
yes.
begin.
Right.
Yeah.
But like a mandala, like a sand mandala, you know, so I always appreciated that lesson that's built within...
Yeah.
Within Burning Man. And then you take the seed of that wisdom and you bring it and you can build in more permanent settings, because to live permanently in the desert like that might be challenging, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, too challenging.
Yeah, no, and I just find we're all somewhere on the spectrum of like preparing for this, you know, for this kind of reality. And it's like for 28 years of just like with everyone I know, just trying to shake them, like, wake up, stop renting, like, and organize all your favorite people and get on land.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now, like that's what we need to all be doing
now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Costa Rica. Eterna.
Go down to Costa Rica.
San Mateo. Yeah, I'm
Costa Rica.
Instagram, Stephen with the PHR Brooks, and Eterna community.
Okay, brother. I'm glad we got to whip this together.
Yeah, cool.